Hi, my name is Aaliyah, and I'm from YJC under WHYY Media Lab /PBS. In South Philly, there has been so many abandoned houses that we have seen, so we decided to investigate how houses become abandoned and how the city and the local architects repurpose these properties and the effects these new developments have on the community members.
Well, Philadelphia went through a big change in the 1960s and 70s where industries were leaving the city, and a lot of people in Philadelphia worked in heavy industry. And when those industries left town, a lot of people left town too, and they left their homes behind. They had no one to sell to. So they left a lot of homes behind, and they became abandoned, boarded up houses.
Well, the city lost hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of residents towards the end of the 20th century. So a lot of people just left the city, leaving a lot of empty homes. And many of the areas were not properly maintained. A lot of jobs left the area.
There are millions of places that have been abandoned across the nation, especially in urban places like Baltimore and New York City. Here in Philly, we have about 40,000 abandoned properties. So we spoke to Crystal Williams, the field support coordinator for Philadelphia Parks and Rec, to find out a little more.
I think it has a lot to do with the different housing developments that are starting to be built down there. It's becoming a little expensive for people to live. I think a lot of it has to do with just the wear and tear that houses take on, like, financially. You know, you have to fix your roof every 10 years, and you have to, the upkeep of it may just be too expensive.
So a lot of times the houses are still owned by somebody even though no one lives there. So they're able to track down the owners through the city. Some of the properties are owned by the city. The city might have repossessed them if they were left vacant for long enough and the taxes weren't paid. So the city might own them, and there's a way to purchase property through the city.
And then developers buy them up at sheriff sales or at other places. So I think there needs to be more support for homeowners to stay in their homes. But I think that's really the key, trying to bridge the gap for people so they don't end up losing their homes because of tax sales or because the house has fallen into such disrepair because they can't afford home repair that it ends up being demolished.
But I think a lot of it has to do with the different properties and the people that are coming in, and it's making the people who live there their entire lives a little bit hard for them to stay.
Gentrification is also an issue that developers and members of the community face when new developers come to town. Gentrification means the process of renovating and improving a house or district so that it conforms to middle-class tastes. Typically, these renovations come at a high cost, forcing the original tenants to be pushed out.
Some residents who are in the neighborhood are very excited about new development. They want more people, they want more neighbors. It brings more commerce and more eyes on the street, and so safety in the neighborhood. Other people feel that the changes that are happening with newer people moving in, they might be different than the people who are already here. So that can be stressful for them. They see the neighborhood changing around them and they don't like that. So some of that development is not as welcome. So it really depends on the person's perspective who's judging the project.
I like how they remodeling the properties, how they're keeping some of the charm of the old structure, the historicness of it. But I love how when they remodel the inside and you see the modernization of everything. That right there I really love. I love how they keeping the old and the new together. So that's what I like to see.
But a lot of the new development that you see is bigger lots where people are building new apartment buildings. And that's because, again, there's a demand for that kind of housing. People are moving into neighborhoods and they're looking for affordable options. It has all kinds of effects. I think for some, rents are going up and the price of homes is certainly on the rise. There's also a lot more people that are moving into blocks where there were vacancies or there was empty lots. So it's, I think, a lot of different effects for different people. I think it depends on who you are.
So one thing that I focus on working within my community is helping people build their credit up so they can become home ownership. So one thing I would like to see is more home ownership.
The future for South Philly is ripe with change and growth. More developers developing new buildings, which is drawing more people to the neighborhood. The type of effects that such change will bring could mean gentrification for some, or a better, brighter future for others only. Time will tell. For YJC under WHYY Media Labs /PBS, I'm Aaliyah Blau signing out.